Let's go to
This is
Joy.
Steve's show, Dallas.
No, go to Joy in Raleigh, North Carolina. Good morning.
Hey, somebody from down south.
Well, you're right. I'm from down south.
Oh, God, it's Mom.
And I'm your mother. And I disagree that all families are like ours. I don't know many families that are fighting at Thanksgiving.
Is this really your mother?
No, it's our Mom.
I was very glad that this Thanksgiving was a year that you two were supposed to go to your in-laws, and I'm hoping you'll have some of this out of your system when you come here for Christmas.
Yeah, we were not together this Thanksgiving. We are most
I
years.
would really like a peaceful Christmas, and I love you both.
Hey, now let me jump in because this was not planned. She called in on the normal line, so but since you did call in, Mrs. Woodhouse. What's it like to raise these two boys?
Well, it hadn't been easy.
No true words have ever been said.
Oh God.
Well, we love you, Mom.
And I love politics. Their dad and I both love politics. We follow the entire country. I know that we have to take responsibility for them, and they're both very passionate about what they believe in, and I love that about them. But I hope that they just kind of get this out of their system today on your program.
By the way,
There's no way that happened.
That is wishful thinking.
are you a Democrat or Republican, Mrs. Woodhouse?
Well, I am a registered Democrat. That's many years ago, but I have, at times split my ticket. But, I'm more concerned. I am concerned for the party who's going to expand Medicaid. I have an autistic grandson who's going to expand health care. So those are, I guess, I am more of a one-issue person right now in my life because I have such concern for my autistic grandson.
Joy, thank you for the call. And again, this was not planned, but we're glad to hear from you.
All right,
Thanks, Mom.
We'll see you back home soon.
See you this weekend.
Okay.
I promise I won't take up too much of your time here. My name is Andrew Christensen. I live at 1212 Twin Ridge Road. Lincoln has the opportunity to be a social leader in this country. We have been casually ignoring a problem that has gotten so out of control that our children are throwing around names and words without even understanding their true meaning and treating things as though they're normal. I go into nice family restaurants and I see people throwing this name around and pretending as though everything is just fine. I'm talking about boneless chicken wings. I propose that we as a city remove the... Excuse me, I'm trying to...
Yeah.
Excuse me,
Sure.
come on. I propose that we as a city remove the name boneless wings from our menus and from our hearts. These are our reasons why. Number one, nothing about boneless chicken wings actually come from the wing of a chicken. We would be disgusted if a butcher was mislabeling their cuts of meats, but then we go around and pretending as though the breast of the chicken is its wing. Number two, boneless chicken wings are just chicken tenders, which are already boneless. I don't go to order boneless tacos. I don't go and order boneless club sandwiches. I don't ask for boneless auto repair. It's just what's expected. And then number three, we need to raise our children better. Our children are raised being afraid of having bones attached to their meat. That's where meat comes from. It grows on bones. We need to teach them that the wing of a chicken is from a chicken, and it's delicious. I propose that we rename boneless wings in the city of Lincoln. We can call them buffalo-style chicken tenders. We can call them wet tenders. We can call them saucy nugs or trash. We can take these steps and show the country that where we stand, and that we understand that we've been living a lie for far too long. And we know it because we feel it in our bones.
Thank you. Okay, hold it down, please.
I would like to just comment here. For the record, that's my son.
That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice the last name. That's why you're laughing. I did notice
Last night, the Congressional baseball game went on just as planned, one day after a gunman opened fire on Republicans. Dozens of lawmakers from both parties took the field. Jan Crawford was at the game and has more from an emotional night in Nationals Park in Washington, D.C.
The night began with a bipartisan moment of reflection and a standing ovation for a surprise guest, one of the heroes of Wednesday's shooting, Special Agent David Bailey. A moving moment that gave lawmakers like Mo Brooks, who escaped the attack unharmed, a chance to say thanks.
What was it like tonight when you saw Officer Bailey?
I was compelled to go over there and give him a hug and let him know how much I appreciated what he did, the courage that he showed. You know, I might not be here speaking to you tonight, but for what he did.
President Trump sent his daughter Ivanka and a message that aired in the outfield before the game.
By playing tonight, you are showing the world that we will not be intimidated by threats, acts of violence, or assaults on our democracy.
Lawmakers from both parties wore Louisiana State University ball caps in honor of their wounded colleague, Congressman Steve Scalise.
Steve would want nothing more than to make sure this game was played.
He was one of the most passionate guys about this game.
Congressional leaders try to set a bipartisan example, standing on the field together before the game and calling for a friendlier tone.
There are not enough relationship-building exercises between Republicans and Democrats. We got more work to do on that.
I thought you were going to brag about how much my grandchildren are your big fans.
That's right, yeah.
Lawmakers also agreed about the quality of play they expected on the field.
It's kind of a running joke. There's some members who take it more seriously than others.
There certainly were some errors, but clutch plays by Democrats led to a blowout. Final score 11-2. But for the players, this game was bigger than the score.
This carries over into the halls of Congress, and that's how you get to know one another, and hopefully that's how the vitriol ends.
The game raised more than $1 million for charity. The congressman that was shot, Louisiana Representative Steve Scalise, is still recovering in the hospital.
The charity game went on as planned last night in Washington, D.C. Democrats and Republicans put on a display of unity both on and off the field. The Democrats won the game and quickly handed the trophy over to the Republicans so they could give it to Scalise.
House Majority Whip Steve Scalise returned to the field Thursday, 1 year after being shot and wounded at a congressional baseball practice. He was walking with the help of a crutch before the annual congressional baseball game started, but he was about to play without it. On the first play of the night, Scalise fielded a ground ball at second base and threw it to first to record the out.
Scalise throws him out at first from his knees. The entire infield, the entire field goes over to congratulate him and give him a big hug. How about that? For the very first pitch, he gets the ground ball and throws out Ruiz at first base. What a moment. Look at the hugs.
It was so great to see. Scalise remained in the game for one more batter before leaving the field to a standing ovation with a little help from his teammates. Before the game, Scalise spoke with our Nancy Cordes about how his near-death experience changed his outlook on life.
You know, if anything, it just focuses you more on the things that are important in life. You know, the things you love, your family, the job that I love, and your friends that get you through it. So, you know, you appreciate that even more. And to me, what touched me, I think, in the most unique way was seeing how many people prayed for me that I've never met before, and how the power of prayer has really strengthened my recovery. That, you know, I didn't realize how much that would affect me.
You've been a real source of inspiration, I think, to just a lot of your colleagues. Seeing you come back, it's, you know, obviously lifted everyone's spirits when you first came back, and, you know, they've watched you recover every step of the way. How big of a source of strength have they been for you?
You know, my colleagues have been an incredible source of strength. And just when I walked back into the House chamber that first time in September, to feel that love and the, you know, the ovation, and to see the faces. I mean, members and friends I hadn't seen in months after coming out of the hospital for 3.5 months, to just look around and see everybody smiling and welcoming me back. Because there were days where I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it back. And that was just an incredible feeling.
Now, one very surprising thing that happened was when a fight broke up and there was a little circle going on, one of the people from the Trump side, a Trump supporter, came out and was calling for peace and took one of the Antifa people, shook his hand, and then started lighting up a blunt, I guess, a blunt of peace. And they both started smoking it. You know, the Trump supporter was actually calling for peace on both sides. Then one of those fireworks went off and that ended.
We got to heal our country.
Well, Trump supporter John Franklin McGraw apologized and hugged his victim, Rakeem Jones, in court after receiving 12 months of probation. Remember McGraw, who was attending a Donald Trump rally in North Carolina when he punched Jones in the face? Jones, 26, accepted his apology and said in court he did not believe the assault was racially motivated.
I just felt good being able to shake his hand and being able to, you know, being able to actually face him.
McGraw pleaded no contest to misdemeanor charges of disorderly conduct and assault and battery, and as part of his sentencing he received a 30-day suspended sentence, 12 months of unsupervised probation, a $250 fine, and $180 in court fees. During his presidential campaign, Trump promised to pay the legal fees for several supporters who attacked protesters at rallies, including McGraw. It's unclear if Trump, now the president-elect, will cover McGraw's costs. His spokeswoman did not immediately return a request for comment.
So I've been here with the little group of protesters all day, and for one, there was only one person who said that you were racist.
Okay.
And so I think it's a mischaracterization because I want to have a debate here.
Okay. Can you tell me who it was?
I'm not calling out people.
Okay.
You know, people
kind of like calling someone out as a racist. We don't want to do that.
I didn't do that. I don't know.
I know.
Because there's people online who will demonize them, and I'm not trying to get them in trouble. You know, the people online.
I understand it. And by the way, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by the response online because of how respectful and how civil you've been, regardless of where we disagree. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I think that if you would have, instead of sitting here, and I know you didn't, but mingling with people who've accused me of racism, or as you say, trying to exploit free emotional labor, whatever that means, I think you would have found...
It's really important.
I think you would have found that... Hold on a second, we're speaking here. Don't interrupt the lady.
I'm sorry
I think
to
you would have
interrupt,
found
but you
that it
just
was...
completely discredited my point.
You're mansplaining here, sir. I think you would have
You don't
found...
even know what that means. How are you going to use that term against me?
Can you let me speak with her? You spoke for a much longer period of time than her. I'm answering
May
her.
I speak to defend myself?
Can I address what she just said?
It's better not.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm on your side.
Okay. Can I just finish? I think that if you would have sit down and had a conversation, you would have found that it's very similar to what we're doing right now.
Right.
It's designed to evoke what's happening right now. It's not designed to insult anybody. I want people like you on this campus. I disagree with your points of view.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that you're respectful, and I appreciate that you're willing to talk. I hope you understand that's the point to this, and I hope you don't feel like I've been an aggressor toward you at any point. Okay.
Because I think I was talking to my friends, because I have a lot of friends who went over there. I think it's good that we're creating a dialogue, and it's not inflammatory. There's not any punching or fighting or anything crazy like that.
Sure.
But I think the only reason why I've stayed over here mostly is that because we have a big immigrant population here, is that there are a lot of people who deal day to day with, racism.
I'm an immigrant.
Yeah, but I'm saying, then you might understand, and especially because we have a lot of first-gen immigrants who are dealing with their visa and the stress of immigration every day. That I stayed over here because there's people we need to have. I think it shows that even with the crowd, and even there are a lot of people who dissented to you in the crowd, that having a dissent over here showed that they weren't alone. Because I know it could be scary for some people.
Sure, I understand. And believe me, one thing, I used to tell the story, when I used to do stand-up comedy, I used to get so violently ill because I really do have a fear of public speaking. And I think a lot of people do. I think even more so when there's a culture of fear, as you see on college campus, where people are afraid of speaking out because they're admonished as a racist, right? As you didn't... But you've heard some people say it, and that's the whole reason for this. Is there are a lot of students there who've actually been othered, who maybe agree with the point or maybe don't, but they want to see people have a dialogue.
Right.
So I have no problem with you being here protesting. The only issue I have is with when people lob accusations and throw accusations from afar.
Yeah.
But can we have a handshake or bro hug? Do you do bro? Gender neutral bro hug, as it's called. No, I appreciate it, and you're welcome to come and grab a seat.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
This is the day we take
Iowa, this great state, is a battleground state.
A little nervous on this one, so I don't know. Oh man, not even eye contact. Are you a Bernie supporter?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. I know. It's cold as hell. Anyone's welcome to join. In for a hug? No? No hug? Dang. Not even do a giant Cusack. I'm trying. Anyone? Hug a Bernie supporter? All right. Hug a Bernie supporter? Good man. Good man.
Don't hug, guys, but I'll give you a pat on the shoulder.
I'll take it. Thanks, man. Bring it in. Bring it in here. I've never hugged a cob of corn. I love this.
How did it go?
Oh, it felt very agricultural. Thank you. Hug a Bernie supporter? Thank you. Handshake? Can I get a handshake? All right, hey. All right, I appreciate it. With hugs. Make America great again with hugs. Come on. There it is. Thank you. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. No problem. There we go. Thank you. This is good. My head is huge, so I'll have to adjust it. It's like kind of a hug. Hey, man, I appreciate it. Your hands. Thanks. I don't know. Bring it in.
Your guy wins.
I got hugs in. My daughter's a Bernie. Oh, that's fantastic. Hey, I appreciate it. The larger shirt this time. Sorry, I'm so tall. What do you want?
Yeah, don't apologize for that. Okay.
Bring it in. Hey, man. There we go. Sorry when we appreciate it. No? Handshake, I'll take it. Bring it in. Come on. No, not even. How about a handshake? How about a handshake? You're good? I mean, it's not a photo. I appreciate it. There were some more unfriendly glances and glares and hard passes, for sure. The hack guy hugged me. I got some wonderful hugs, some warm embraces. You can still get hugs. And even Bernie fans came, so there you go. Are you a Bernie supporter?
We saw you the other night.
You may have.
You were here.
That's my twin. He loves Trump.
Yeah.
He loves Trump. Yeah.
Can we just kind of go outside with that?
Yeah, sure.
We don't want to crowd everything up, you know.
Okay, so are most people down from that?
Yeah, the event's pretty much over. It's
over.
Yeah, he's gone. They're all gone.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. We'll get packed up. Thanks, guys. Yep, you too.
We've sneaked in one more question, and it comes from Carl Becker.
Good evening. My question to both of you is, regardless of the current rhetoric, would either of you name one positive thing that you respect in one another?
Mr. Trump, would you like to go first?
Well, I certainly will, because I think that's a very fair and important question. Look, I respect his children. His children are incredibly able and devoted, and I think that says a lot about Donald. I don't agree with nearly anything else he says or does, but I do respect that. And I think that is something that as a mother and a grandmother is very important to me. So I believe that this election has become in part so conflict-oriented, so intense, because there's a lot at stake. This is not an ordinary time, and this is not an ordinary election. We are going to be choosing a president who will set policy for not just 4 or 8 years, but because of some of the important decisions we have to make here at home and around the world, from the Supreme Court to energy and so much else. And so there is a lot at stake. It's one of the most consequential elections that we've had. And that's why I've tried to put forth specific policies and plans, trying to get it off of the personal and put it on to what it is I want to do as president. And that's why I hope people will check on that for themselves, so that they can see that, yes, I've spent 30 years, actually maybe a little more, working to help kids and families, and I want to take all that experience to the White House and do that every single day.
Mr. Trump.
Well, I consider her statement about my children to be a very nice compliment. I don't know if it was meant to be a compliment, but it is a great. I'm very proud of my children. And they've done a wonderful job, and they've been wonderful, wonderful kids. So I consider that a compliment. I will say this about Hillary. She doesn't quit. She doesn't give up. I respect that. I tell it like it is. She's a fighter. I disagree with much of what she's fighting for. I do disagree with her judgment in many cases. But she does fight hard, and she doesn't quit, and she doesn't give up, and I consider that to be a very good trait.
Daryl Davis plays a hot piano. It's part of the show, and it makes him stand out. He also stands out here. Davis is one of the few African Americans you will ever find attending a KKK rally. More than attending, he is welcome.
I got more respect for that black man than I do you white niggers out there.
It's been a tough day for the Klan. Their Maryland rally found many local residents rejecting the message of white separatism. After it's over, Daryl Davis hangs around backstage with his friend, Klan wizard Roger Kelly. It's not unusual for blacks and whites to be friends, but it is unusual to find a black man and a Klan leader chatting pleasantly over an orange soda after a Klan rally. The relationship started over a book Davis was writing. His secretary set up an interview with Roger Kelly, but didn't tell him Davis was black. They talked and talked some more. Davis learning about the Klan, Kelly learning about Davis.
We get to know one another and we do different things, you know. It hasn't changed my views about the Klan, you know, because my views on the Klan's been pretty much cemented in my mind for years.
Kelly and his Klan friends go to hear Davis and his band. And Davis goes to their rallies.
I sat on the front row and listened to each Klansman speak. Some things I agreed with, other things I did not agree with.
Davis thinks that his presence promotes badly needed understanding.
Hate stems, I believe, from fear of the unknown, and I think this is all across the board, regardless of whether it's a Klansman or anything else.
But he has no illusions about the Klan. If he did, his friend would be quick to disabuse them.
And I believe in separation of the races. I believe that's in the best interest of all races.
Does he really? Or has friendship transcended the color barrier? Listen to Kelly at a Klan rally.
I will follow that man to hell and back because I believe in what he stands for and he believes in what I stand for. A lot of times we don't agree with everything, but at least he respects me to sit down and listen to me. And I'll respect him to sit down and listen to him.
The strange relationship of a KKK wizard and his black buddy. In Washington, I'm Carl Rochelle, CNN Sunday Morning.
Strange. Good adjective, strange.
Certainly that.